Bakhmut area clashes continue, Ukraine's military says. Clashes are continuing around the devastated city of Bakhmut in eastern Ukraine, and Moscow is still suffering significant losses despite a relative easing of combat operations in recent days, Kyiv's armed forces said on Sunday. Russia claimed late last month to have captured Bakhmut following what had become the war's longest and bloodiest battle. But Ukraine says its forces still retain a small foothold and denies that Moscow is in full control of the city. Ukraine's top military command said in its daily report on Sunday that Russian forces had carried out 2 unsuccessful operations around Bakhmut and launched a number of airstrikes and artillery shelling on nearby villages. It said some 23 combat clashes had taken place over the past 24 hours in the Donetsk region, where Bakhmut is located, and in neighboring Luhansk. Russia claims to have annexed both regions from Ukraine, along with 3 others, including Crimea. The enemy continues to suffer significant losses in the Bakhmut direction. The commander of Ukraine's ground forces, Alexander Syrsky, said on the Telegram messaging app on Saturday after visiting troops in the area. Defense forces continue to fight. We will win. Bakhmut, once home to 70,000 people, has no strategic value, according to military analysts, but Moscow has said capturing it would help its forces to advance deeper into eastern Ukraine. Ukraine's Deputy Defense Minister Hanna Maliar said Kyiv's forces still controlled the southwestern outskirts of Bakhmut. Responding to her comments, the head of Russia's Wagner mercenary group, the main driving force behind Moscow's offensive in Bakhmut, said on Sunday Ukrainian troops may have set up observation posts there. If this is the case, then wait for the next steps, Yevgeny Prigozhin said in an audio post on Telegram. Prigozhin said earlier this week that 99 of his fighters had left Bakhmut after handing it over to Russia's army. British defense intelligence said on Saturday that Russia continued to redeploy regular military units to the Bakhmut sector, replacing Wagner fighters. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said in an interview published on Saturday that his forces were ready to launch the long-expected counteroffensive to reclaim territory now occupied by Russia. Kyiv hopes the counteroffensive will change the dynamics of the war that has raged since Russia invaded its smaller neighbor 15 months ago. Zelensky says Russia is evading sanctions on weapons. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Sunday said that Russia was using a network of suppliers to evade international sanctions designed to prevent it from making missiles and other weapons. In a video address, Zelensky said unnamed countries and companies were helping Russia acquire technology with the emphasis on producing missiles. Russia has launched hundreds of missiles against Ukrainian targets since last October. Unfortunately, the terrorist state manages to use the technologies of the world through a network of suppliers, manages to bypass international sanctions, Zelensky said. Ukraine, Zelensky added, was well aware of all of Russia's efforts to evade sanctions and will seek to ensure that there are no products of the free world in Russian missiles. In April, a senior Zelensky aide said Ukrainian forces were finding a growing number of components from China in Russian weapons used in Ukraine as Western supplies are squeezed by sanctions. China has denied sending military equipment to Russia. Ukrainian airfield hit in overnight Russian missile attack. The facility near the city of Kropyvnytsky was struck by 2 missiles during an overnight attack in which several Ukrainian cities were targeted. An overnight Russian missile strike hit an airfield near the city of Kropyvnytsky in central Ukraine, authorities in Kiev said on Sunday morning. 6 missiles and 5 attack drones were launched by Russia, Ukrainian Air Force spokesman Yuri Ignat said on television. Unfortunately, not all of them were destroyed. Of the 6, 4 were destroyed by air defense and 2 hit the operational airfield near Kropyvnytsky, he said. Ignat gave no details on any casualties or damage to equipment or buildings. Later on Sunday, the Russian army said it hit Ukrainian military airfields with long-range weapons. Today at night, the armed forces of the Russian Federation carried out a group strike with long-range precision, guided air-launched weapons against enemy targets at military airfields, it said in a statement. Elsewhere, a 2-year-old girl has been killed and 22 other people injured after a Russian missile hit a residential building in the Ukrainian city of Dnipro. The attack late on Saturday evening partially destroyed a pair of 2-story buildings, as well as 10 private homes, a shop and a gas pipeline, authorities said. Kyiv was also targeted overnight. The head of the local military administration said the capital's air defenses repelled several missiles and drones, all of them being downed before reaching the skies above the city. According to preliminary information, not a single aerial target reached the capital. Serhiy Popko wrote on Telegram on Sunday. The air defense forces destroyed everything heading towards the city at long distance. For the second night in a row, the residents of Kyiv did not hear the sounds of explosions overhead.